Hey guys, I'm Hikiko. Unfortunately, I do have to deliver the terrible news, or at least the developing story of Sony pulling the PlayStation Store from the PS3, the PSP, and the PlayStation Vita. It's widely reported right now, but it's still in the rumor phase. And I think the best case scenario is that Sony is pulling the stores from the consoles and mobile devices themselves. So the PS3, PSP, Vita will no longer be able to access the store. I think July is the deadline for this. But in the past, to be in Sony's defense here, in the past, Sony has allowed you to access these games through your PC via the PlayStation Store website online. So that's our best case scenario. Worst case scenario is something I saw on Twitter. A user had mentioned that there is an authentication process for your digital purchases on your PS3, for example. And the only way that information, your validation of your license, is stored is within the PlayStation 3's CMOS battery. I know this is true because I have two PlayStation 3 Fat models that have a dead CMOS battery. What that means is it no longer saves my themes, and every time I turn on my PS3 and I want to play a digital game that I purchased, it has to then get a handshake from Sony servers in order for me to launch said game. The sleeping giant in this situation is, what if that PS3 can no longer make that validation handshake? Either because your CMOS is dead and it can no longer access the servers to then refresh the license. That leaves a lot of PlayStation 3s with a bunch of games that you can no longer play. It seems like this situation needs to be addressed quickly by Sony. All the information needs to be clear. Can I still download patches? Can I play certain games online? There are a ton of games that have online that are still working either through fan servers like I showed in my video, or have an online component like Nobi Nobi Boy, which is essential to the whole model of the game. This also affects content like PlayStation Plus. I still have all my PlayStation Plus content from PS3, PSP, and Vita. Like a big portion of my library were the free games I got off of there. And as long as I'm a member, I should still have access to that content, correct? As well as cloud saves. Cloud saves are still a huge snafu for Sony. They have an issue right now that they're facing with migration from PS4 saves over to PS5s and the upgrade process, what that looks like on a per game basis. What happens to all my cloud saves, all the stuff where I've been storing my saves tied to my account if my PS3 dies and I have to transfer that information over to a new device, which I've had to do 3 times in my ownership of being a PS3 owner. Same thing happens with Vita. Vitas do not have replaceable batteries, or at least an easy way like the PSP. It's an internal thing, and it's a really tough process to change out a Vita battery. So what happens when my Vita dies and I have to switch it out to a newer model? A lot of questions that Sony needs to address rather quickly because they are not providing any legitimate alternative via their own backwards compatibility on the PS5 or other devices or other means about it. No official way to play a lot of the library, especially concerning the PS3 and PSP. And Vita in the West had a lot of digital only exclusive titles. You didn't provide us with a physical copy of Siren for the PS3 in the West. So what happens when I paid all that money for all those individual episodes and I can no longer connect to one of your servers? Am I out that money? Are you issuing refunds? The sad thing is that some of these companies have now shuttered. So there's no incentive for Sony to carry these games forward, aka they'll be stuck on that console generation or on the PSP or PS Vita. I would like to tell everyone out there to download your entire library for your PS Vita, but with memory card limitations on that, expensive proprietary memory, you might not be able to get everything on one device. Unfortunately, if you own something like the PSP Go, which is a fully digital system, if Sony does not provide you with a way to download your games, then you're just sitting there with a brick unless you choose to homebrew it. I'm very disappointed with how things are going right now in the Sony world here. I would like nothing better than them to prove us all wrong and do something cool for a change. Do something cool. Allow us to download the games we already paid for. That you promised were going to be around. So that's all I got to say about that. If you have a PlayStation 3, PSP, or Vita, download your games, get them now, and don't wait for Sony to deliver the bad news. Do what you got to do, download your games. And if you just so happen to be upset with that and prefer soft modding, that may be another avenue for you to take. A lot of information and resources out there about that, and it unfortunately may be the conclusion to this mess of a story. Anyways, I'm Hikiko. Thanks for watching. I felt I had to address this. Go check out my PlayStation 3 video where I mentioned that I warned about this exact same thing happening in my most recent video. Please check that out. Hopefully, I'll see you next time with some better news. Take care, everyone.